Hey everybody, Paul from Net Audio here, and today we're going to talk about the 5th gen quad cab trucks. Everybody finds our crew cab boxes, and the quad cab owners always, they feel left out, and they feel like nobody makes anything for these trucks. I see it in the audio groups, I see it in the Ram groups. We have all sorts of options for that truck, and we put in a lot of effort on that platform in order to either maximize space or to maximize bass. And what we have today is one of our maximize bass applications. I'm going to go over the features on this one, show you how the design is, and then I'll talk about how the smaller versions are laid out. And in the future, whenever we have one on order, then we will do a corresponding video to go over that stuff as well. This one requires an 1.5-inch seat lift, and it is right at 2 cubic foot. It's ported. The port is pretty big and loads out of the back, so it fires at the back wall. It's tuned at 34 hertz. We put a Sundown SA V2 in here just to show off, you know, how big of a woofer we can fit in here. This customer's using some Audio Dynamics 4000 series 12s. You throw 1,000, 1,200 watts on a single 12 in a proper ported box in a pickup like that, and that's a lot of bass. He's going to be, I think, a very, very happy customer. With the sub out, you can see how it is that we're building these. These boxes are completely what the industry calls stack fab. So it is layer upon layer of wood in order for us to fit to the complicated profiles that this back floor is. There's a lot of shape that's going on back here, and doing the stack fab was the simplest version in order to get all of these profiles and contours going on. Now, could we have done this all with regular wood and a bunch of different angles? Yeah, but now we're dealing with compound angles and everything, which is doable, but there's no quick and repetitive way to do that. We chose stack fab because this takes 2 sheets of wood to cut out, but then it only takes like 30-45 minutes to actually assemble. It's just a big jigsaw puzzle. After assembly, then we have some sanding and some shaping and stuff that is done on certain areas. You're paying more for the material, and then the finish time is the way that it goes. But it allows us to get this full and busy, you know, shape from underneath the back seat. So the complication with these trucks is if you actually use the back seat to carry 3 adults or 3 people on a regular basis. On the driver's side and passenger side, there's no problem at all. On the middle seat, that's where it gets kind of complicated, because even without putting an enclosure or anything like that, the center console is really close to the front edge of the seat. On this version of the box, in order to gain airspace, we made this flat across, and that's a big chunk of airspace for us, and it kind of kills that middle jump seat. You can sit, if you're an adult, with your feet on either side of the console. If you're hopping to a restaurant or something, not a big deal, but I would not want to take a long road trip or something like that. So just keep that in mind. We only did that on this XL seat lift version for the airspace, and we also did these humps out the front of it so that we had the capability to put 12s, and it did get us a little more airspace. The edge of the back seat actually stops here, so this will stick out just a little bit, and then the middle is flat. And we make this box ported for a single 10 or 12. We can also do 2 8s. The 2 8s fit in here very well. Or you can do 2 10s or 2 12s in a sealed box if they're needing more airspace. We shortened this trim piece and we put a 12-inch subwoofer hole over on that side without the port. There's not enough airspace for us to do 2 10s ported or 2 12s ported. We barely have 2 cubic foot total as it is right here. So for people who are not after as much bass or who really need to keep function of the back seat area, we do make our original smaller platform. We take away 1.5 inches, so still a decent sized enclosure, but it is perfectly contoured to the front edge of the seat. The enclosure goes from this angle and then contours in for around the middle seat area. So you get that same clearance in the middle area for you to be able to put feet and all that stuff. That enclosure is 1.4 cubic foot, so plenty. You got 0.7 cubic foot, which is great for 2 10 sealed. You can do 4 8 sealed, plenty of airspace for doing some good subs. Mounting depth on that enclosure, I didn't check. I want to say it's around 6.5. We also make a version that is another 3/4 inch shorter, and it is specifically for the JL10 TW3s. So that gets them the airspace that they call for, which is like 0.55 cubic foot each, but it also is profiled for the ears that the JL basket has on it. The other thing people always ask about with these trucks is they want us to do something fancy and custom with them like we do with the crew cabs. And we thought about that. We wanted to. We looked at it whenever we had our trucks here and we were prototyping. For you to see this space with it in the truck, you literally have to either slide the seat all the way forward and stick your head down on the floor like this, or you have to be in the front seats and turning around looking back to the back seat area. So I know everybody wants us to do these fancy enclosures, but just look at the photos we're going to share, and you can see just how hard it was for me to even get a picture of how these fit into the truck. It's not like we're saying, no, quad cab owners, we're not going to do anything pretty for y'all don't deserve it. It is called, I don't want to take your money and then you can't even see it and enjoy it. We've done one of these before where we put the fancy stuff on the top. We did it for a demo truck for a manufacturer. Then the only time you can see it is when you flip the seat up. So if that's something you want to do, then we can. It's just not a very big space to work with. Hopefully that sheds some light on some of this. Like I said, it's not nearly as popular of a truck as the crew cabs. The crew cabs by far are the majority of what we do for Rams. The quad cabs, they're really like 1 out of 20 or 25 customers that we talk to. They're just not as common. We love this platform. It works very, very well in there. It fits the truck very well. It's not big and boxy and square. We are working on trying to come up with more of a low-cost solution, but there's going to be a lot of sacrifices. You're going to lose that center seat area, and it's not going to have nearly as much airspace. It's going to be a pretty boxy looking, setup that fits down inside that space. But we are planning on working that in there. So like I said, this is our XL box. It does come with an 1.5 inch seat lift. Installation for that is really straightforward. We have other videos that cover the seat lift installations. Rock solid enclosure and really cool design, and it works very, very well in those pickups. So if you're looking for some big bass in a quad cab, this is absolutely the way to go. This does not fit in the crew. The crew cab boxes do not fit in a quad. They're completely different force, completely different cabs. This is our best solution that we have to offer y'all. So hopefully that answered up some questions. If you have any more questions, absolutely hit us up. You can give us a call, hit us up through email, Facebook, YouTube comments, whatever you want to do in order to get hold of us. We're always answering. So if you have any requests that you want to see done, give us a shout. Keep an eye out for the video we'll do on the more simple enclosure in the future, and we'll link these together whenever we do that. Until then,